Everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the Executive Cabinet Member Culture Portfolio. Today's Monday, 3rd of February 2025, and it's just gone 5:30 p.m. I'm Councillor Nadeem Ayoub, the Executive Cabinet Member for Culture. On this call, we have council members and council officers. So we'll just run through the agenda. Agenda item 1 is the monitoring of the Executive Cabinet Member decisions. Do you want to take us through them and anything that we can cross off? We can cross off, Vicky?
Yeah, I mean, we can cross off the 2 directorates' finance reports for Q2. They've both been completed.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Item 2 is the Director of Place Finance Report 24-25, Q3. Is that yourself taking us through, Catherine?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So this report contains the Q3 update for the Directorate of Place. There's 3 sections to the report. The first section is the revenue section. The Directorate is currently projected a year-end overspend of 549,800, of which this portfolio there is a 212,800 overspend. 244,000 of this overspend is attributable to the market service, which has been impacted by an increase in running costs and also the traders' ability to clear outstanding debts from the pandemic. The second part of the report is around capital expenditure. And for the Directorate of Places at Q3, there was £31 million against expenditure against a revised budget of 55 million. For this portfolio, there was a revised budget of 126,000, and that's for the Swimming Pool Support Fund. The works for this have now been completed, and the council is projected to be invoiced for it for the end of this financial year. The third major part of this report is reserves, and the Directorate of Places a projected balance of 2.7 million earmarked reserves for the end of the financial year, and for this portfolio, we've got a projected year-end balance of 1.1 million. Further key findings for the portfolio can be found in the report and service and project-specific detail within the appendices. Finally, the Executive Cabinet Member is asked to note the contents of the report and to approve the recommendations in section 11. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Catherine. See, Councillor Fairclough had indicated, I think the hand's gone down. Do you still got your hand up, Catherine? Sorry, Councillor Fairclough. Yep, go ahead. You're on mute. Oh, you're on mute now. You're on mute, Councillor Fairclough.
Oh,
No.
dear. I'm doing my best.
That's better. Yeah,
Is that better?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what's wrong with my finger. It's just not stabbing hard enough. It was really just to ask about the overspending markets. I mean, I know it's been there for some time, but has it grown? Because I don't remember it being as much as that. Has it increased?
It's the same levels as what we had around about the same as Q2 for this financial year. It's stuck at around 200,000 as an overspend, so we're 244 at Q3.
Right, so it's gone up 44,000.
Very slightly. I'll just double check. I think it's just very slightly it's gone up, but it has been an issue throughout the quarters. It's something we're monitoring. We've got a multidisciplinary group that are looking at how we can address it, particularly with the running costs with the market.
Right, okay. I mean, I don't know, maybe we could perhaps look at how that's happening, you know, at some later date. We could perhaps include that to see exactly what's being put in place. Just a thought.
Thank you, Councillor Fairclough. Councillor McGowan.
Thank you, Chair. A question from me is on, I think, 5.12 about the amendments and transfers. I'm just wondering, you're transferring money from West Bolton Town Hall projects to another area. I'm just wondering what's the reasoning behind that and what effect does it have on the funding for the refurbishment of West Bolton Town Hall? Thank you, Chair.
I may answer that. It's a transfer between portfolios. It's not this portfolio that it's been transferred to and from, firstly, and actually it's all within the deputy leader as things stand now. So it's moving from property into regeneration for the West Horton, for the works to take place within the regeneration portfolio. So it's a classification thing rather than a move of monies.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine as long as the money's there for the work. That's what bothered me. Okay,
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Patel?
Hi, yeah, sorry, just obviously I wasn't party to some of the other discussions in this group, but in terms of the markets, going back to that question what Hillary's asked, how much of that was down to obviously the inability of market traders to pay for, you know, loss of business? Is that part of the 244k, or is this additional cost all?
There is an element that's attributable to what we call bad debt. I'd have to come back to you with that, if that's okay, with a bit of a breakdown of the 244. But yeah, we can get that to you. That's no problem.
Okay, and then I'm assuming obviously you've got a scheme in place to support the businesses that are still trading there to help them with the bad debt repayments.
Yeah, and that's part of the work is with this multidisciplinary group is to actually sit with the traders and get something that is actually manageable. So yeah, that is in place.
Okay, so yeah, so if you can get me some details on that, that'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I don't think see anybody else indicating. So, Vicky, I note that report. Okay. Item 3 on the agenda is the Director of Corporate Resources Finance Report 24/25. Take it, that's you again, Catherine. We're going to want to do that one.
It is. Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Okay, so this report contains the Q3 update for the Directorate of Corporate Resources. Again, 3 parts. I'll start with the revenue section. The Directorate is currently projected a year-end overspend of 52.3 thousand, of which for this portfolio there's a 143,000 overspend. 177,000 of this overspend is attributable to shortfall in income recovery in the Albert Halls. The second part of the report is capital expenditure, and for the Directorate of Corporate Resources as of Q3, we had 696,000 against a budget of 4.9 million. For this portfolio, there's a budget of 576,000, of which the expenditure was 149,000. Reserves, which is the third part of the report, the Directorate of Corporate Resources had a projected balance of 9.9 million at the end of the financial year, and for this portfolio, projected year-end balance of 92,500. Key financial findings of the portfolio can be found in the report and service and project-specific detail within the appendices. The Executive Cabinet member is asked to note the contents of the report and to approve the recommendations in section 11. And again, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Councillor Fairclough.
Thank you. Obviously, it's a similar question. It's not necessarily that the Albert Halls has gone up, but is it possible that we could have a sort of more in-depth breakdown about how this money is how we're losing this money, if you like, and what where it's going really, or why we're losing so much money on the Albert Halls. Obviously, it's just a line there, and it could be anything, and whether or not what we can be doing about it. So I'd just like more information on it, really.
Thanks, Councillor Fairclough. I know Lee has indicated that you might want to answer this question.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that, Councillor. Obviously, we have this as an item also on scrutiny through corporate and external scrutiny committee. I'd be happy again to put that on the forward plan for next year to do it to a deep dive. I think what I would like to just say on the Albert Halls is there's a more positive trajectory at the minute. We've got 55 more shows in next year. There's a lot of work being done, so I think it is a lot more positive, but happy to do a deep dive into it. I think Councillor Fairclough may have dropped off, or
but yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. She has dropped off. Any more? Oh, John. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. It was just coming back to the Place Directorate report. I think as Catherine's indicated, there is a specific working group which has been established to review financial performance within our markets team. I'm conscious that these things take a little bit of time to work through. So whilst we would certainly be very, very happy to update members much in the way that Lee has talked about, there may be opportunities to do that through the scrutiny work programme as we move into 25-26 it will be. But I think another opportunity will of course be extended through continued reporting on budget performance, but it was really just to manage expectation that Catherine would probably closer to the start of that piece of work rather than the end, or certainly no more than midway through. So I think we probably just need to get into the detail, Councillor Ayo, before we're in a position to sort of brief members on the actual detail. So if members can just be patient and hopefully one acknowledge that there is a specific piece of work wrapped around performance within the market service, and as soon as we're in a position to update members in terms of some of the final detail and most importantly the plan for sort of driving down costs and driving income, we'll certainly come back and do that, as I say, through the scrutiny process or through these budget briefings, if that's okay. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so let's just circle back and keep all the members updated, as he said. And that's what the outcome was from. I know you dropped off, Councillor Fairclough, but essentially Lee was
Yes.
going to get.
Apologies for that. I don't know what happened. I've never brought this laptop with me before because it's bulky, and I think it's just died, which is very unfortunate, really. So I've got you on my phone now. But I'm sorry I missed Lee's. What probably was a very interesting report, and perhaps you can let me know after.
Okay, will do. All right. Oh, you can watch the recording because it's going to be recorded, and it's going to be
recording. Absolutely. I have so little else to do in my life.
Okay, thank you very much. That for the purposes of completeness, Vicky, I note that report as well. Okay, the final item is the acquisition of the Egyptian statue. I believe Sam is on to discuss that one. So Sam, do you want to give us a overview?
Yep, no problem. So the report is seeking permission to purchase an Egyptian statue. So just to give you a little bit of background information, the statue we believe was originally owned by somebody called Annie Barlow. She was the local secretary of the Egypt Exploration Society for Bolton, and really she's the reason why we have such a fantastic collection in Bolton. She was the one who did all the negotiations and travelled to Egypt and brought the collections back. So this particular piece is a statue. I mean, I will say that it's not the prettiest piece, but we believe it's authentic. We believe that it was possibly outside in her garden, and she gifted that to somebody. That has then gone through the generations, and it's now with a private owner. It's actually been loaned to us in the museum service for the past 8 years, so we've been looking after it for a long time. But the private owner would now like to sell it, and he's given us the first option to buy it. It's been authenticated and valued by Sotheby's, Christie's, Bonhams, and so on. And we've also had some very experienced curators internationally to look at it for us. So we can offer no guarantees in terms of its authenticity, but we feel as though we've done our best to authenticate it. We've been given an auction estimate of £20,000 to £30,000, and of course that's auction, and it's as good as what somebody will pay for it. So we've negotiated a price with the individual of £12,500, and then we've been able to access an external fund by the Bradshaw Gas Trust, which is a firm of architects in Bolton who have a particular fund which is ring-fenced to our museum service, which we can apply for objects or pieces of artwork. And so we've applied to them, and we're very grateful to receive the £12,500 off them. So we're seeking permission to purchase this statue with that externally funded money. It doesn't come from revenue budget, but I suppose I must say that the caveat is that if in the future that statue is found to be a fake or a copy, we would have to give that money back to those funders. Any questions?
Thank you, Sam. Any questions on that, Nicole? Don't see anybody indicating. Okay, in that case, I approve that, Vicky, for completeness. And that, I think, is the end of the agenda. There is nothing else. So can I thank everybody for attending this meeting, and have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members.
All right.